Hey guys, it's Buzzrod here. I'm going to be doing a bit of gaming nostalgia on the Sega Genesis, and this is going to be the Batman game. So I used to play this a lot when I was a kid, and I remember completing this a number of times, and I was pretty good at it, probably better than I am right now with my current playthrough, but yeah, one of the things I remember doing was just clowning on the bosses, where I just jump on them and basically beat them without punching or using the Batman stars there, or whatever he throws. One of the things I really liked about this game as well was the soundtrack, and even though it's quite an old game right now, the nostalgia is pretty strong when you just hear the soundtrack. So it's one of those things where I've actually listened to the soundtrack on YouTube or SoundCloud, and this is going to be a playthrough of the first few levels up to the vehicle scene, well, the vehicle stage, and this is basically going to be the first boss here. I used to call this the blind guy. Don't know why. Maybe because he was just wearing the glasses, well, the sunglasses there. But yeah, you can just beat this guy by just jumping on him. But I realized that you could just more effectively hit him at the back. One of the things with this particular boss is that you can't really hit him or punch him when he's facing you, because he just kind of like outranges you with the punches that he does. So yeah, this is pretty much how I would normally have beat this boss when I was a kid, just jumping on him. So yeah, it does take a bit of time, but yeah. Also, I just wanted to mention that I played this on the phone with a controller connected to it. So I'm playing on an emulator, and unfortunately I just realized with the recording that the sound is a bit delayed. So when you saw me kind of like punch, there was a bit of a sound delay. So the sound didn't actually play until like maybe a second after. But yeah, I played this game so many times when I was a kid, like, it's kind of wild. Pretty much a lot of the Sega Genesis games I had were the same thing, where I kind of like just beat it multiple times, and yeah, I just kept playing it for hours on end. In terms of the controls on the emulator I'm using, it's mapped fairly well. So I'm using this emulator called Lemroid, and there's an automatic mapping feature. So with the controller I'm using, it's sort of like an Xbox layout, and with the Sega Genesis we have the D-pad and 3 buttons. So it automatically mapped the 3 buttons to the lower 3 buttons on the Xbox controller, which is pretty nice. But yeah, I gotta say, every time so I replayed this a couple of times just to get the hang of it, and it's weird because I definitely remember certain parts of it, and I kind of like still have like a muscle memory, even though I played this game like 20 years ago. It's weird, like I kind of just know what to do at certain points, but in other places I kind of forgot. But yeah, this is almost, I would say, like 80% of the stage completed. Yeah, I remember that particular move I would have done when I was a kid as well. Just kind of like jumped on the guy and just kept walking. So this is sort of like the end of this stage. There's a bit of like graphical glitches. Oh, and here's the thing, right? So I actually accidentally just lost a life, but what you could do, I was meant to time it better with that particular thing. Like the stage has to end, right? And then there's a moment where you just jump into the tub and not lose a life, but I think I jumped it too early. Yeah, as I said, the soundtrack is really good. Like these, the composer for this particular soundtrack did the track for the Nintendo Entertainment System version of this game as well. So if you actually listen to that version of the music, it sounds very similar to this one. Yeah. So I kind of forgot some of the parts of this, and I didn't realize until recently that there's a thing you can do where you can like punch and then Batman will do a block. So he can actually block bullets, but I don't think I even did it in this particular run. So you can see I'm like trying to get the extra life on the right hand side, then couldn't actually do it. I like panicked here. Like, let's see. I just got myself wrecked right there, and so I only have like one life left. So I just decided to keep going. I always found this particular dude pretty annoying because you gotta punch him so many times just to get him killed. There we go. Just keep punching him, bro. Chandeliers, they're always a bit pesky, you know, and you had to make sure they drop first before you jump over. Obviously I was rushing a bit there. Could have just waited a bit to land better, but I ended up landing on the guy and then I just got hit. But this is a common thing, I suppose, in platformers back in the day, where the camera only moves at a certain pace. So if you're trying to like do a speed run, for example, you'll be kind of like hitting the edge of the screen. The camera doesn't just center around your character, it slowly moves to like from left to right. So sometimes if you're like going too fast, you won't really see the opponent because they'll just suddenly appear on the screen and then they'll let you just get hit. But yeah, it's definitely something that I really enjoyed using the controller with my phone to play games like this. There are dedicated handhelds that have a controller specifically for Sega Genesis games, and it looks very much just like the controller you would get across the screen. But this one that I'm using, it's called the Backbone, and it's got an Xbox layout, which is fairly it's good enough for most games, but for the Sega Genesis it doesn't feel exactly the same to play it with that controller. Alright, so we got another boss, and yeah, a lot of the bosses I think you can just jump on them to beat them. So I'm not even sure how I would normally like attack this dude. Like his sword is so long. Like if you try to punch him, he'll probably hit you, right? Actually, there's a smaller boss before this other one. Yeah, I don't even remember how I beat this boss normally either. So I just have like a bunch of like projectiles. I'm just gonna keep shooting him. But there is a yeah, he does that. He throws his radio or whatever, his bomb, and then he'll like charge at you. He does a body slam as well, but I didn't, like, if you get close enough, he'll do a body slam. But yeah. And I think the next part is I always remember this part of it. I don't know what this is about. Like, Batman shoots like these two arrows into the wall and he flies off. But yeah, here's the vehicle scene. When I was playing this stage seemed a bit longer than I remember, but yeah, it's quite different for the game you play. You're normally playing a platform, and then you get this kind of like street stage where you're driving the Batmobile. One of the things I used to do was just not use the missiles. So instead of the throwing his projectile, he has like this homing missile. If you use that button, and instead of punch, you have like you shooting like bullets. Just gone for a cruise, mate. So apparently this game was inspired by the Batman movie made by Tim Burton. I never actually watched the movie, but yeah, this game was kind of inspired by that plot in general. Yeah. I'm pretty sure, like, when I was a kid, I just did some weird things just from playing the game so much, where I just try and avoid everything, like just not shoot or do stuff where I only use like the bullets there to beat everything. Yeah. So I only have like one life left. So if I get wrecked here, it's game over. Yeah, so I do believe there is a boss at the end of this stage. There's like a big tank that shoots. Yeah, there's a lot of buses here. Like, just throwing bombs at on the road while there's cars everywhere. In this particular run, I probably got as far as I could. So there's another stage after this, and I ended up dying. But yeah, there were a few other Sega Genesis games I played as well. So there was stuff like Sonic the Hedgehog, Quackshot, the game with Donald Duck, Super Thunder Blade, Alex the Kid, and like Green Dog. I'm sure there's a few others, but yeah, I kind of forgot. And should be seeing the boss very soon. Should be the next one. But yeah, this will be the end of the video. Maybe someone else who played on the Sega Genesis will have a good time just looking back at this game. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time.